y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a little experiment with these Porsches. So a few years ago, Hot Wheels started coming out with these amazing keychains. The first one was Coupe Clip, and it looked pretty much like this, only it was sort of like a make-believe coupe. But finally, they came out with a more realistic one. This is a Porsche 911, and it got me thinking. They also make other Porsche 911s. Now these two would be a very similar generation, and if you sort of look at the roof line, the headlights, they look pretty similar. Like maybe they could sit together, or rather the body of this RS 2.7 will fit on the chassis of the keychain. So I think I'm gonna tear into these, take them apart, and see what we can get into. So upon initial inspection, yeah, they really do look close. I think the biggest thing that jumps out to me is how much bigger the wheel arch opening is on the RS versus the keychain. And then some more subtle things. It almost looks like if you, well, let's kind of look at them. Trying to center up the wheelbase there. It almost looks like the RS has a longer wheelbase than the Clip. It's also much taller. So that's going to be an issue. Some other smaller things, like this has got the turn signals cut out of the casting. Same thing with like the tail panel, whereas this one it's totally solid. I don't know. I think it's still going to be a cool experiment to see how far off these are, and maybe I can massage it enough to fit together. All right, you know the drill. No pun intended. We gotta remove those rivets and see how far off we are. All right, so if you have ever watched any of my other videos, you know it's sometimes a crapshoot to see how easily these split apart. Sometimes I have to use multiple different bits and it tears up the plastic. These ones practically begged to come apart, so maybe they want to be joined back together. We'll see. So, comes apart just like any normal Hot Wheel, because this is the normal one. You know, there's the layers, no cool Easter eggs with this one. Ah, this is good. It was hard to tell. I thought the taillights and these turn signals were part of the black chassis, but they're actually part of the glass. So you know what? I'm going to leave those together because it makes that flat surface that we need. So that's cool. Now, I've never actually researched to see if this was possible. Maybe I saw an Instagram post that people were like talking about it, but I never watched a video. I've also never seen what's inside of these. So let's dig in. All right, so they're pretty simple. Nothing too fancy on the inside of these, but still cool. We're still doing some experimenting here. And you know what else? Maybe we'll have a second Hot Wheel with the shell of the keychain on the chassis of the old one. That would be pretty cool. All right, so now that we have these apart, man, you can really tell the size difference between these two. Look at the length difference on that. The scale is just way different. And so for the moment of truth, I know this ain't gonna work. Let's just see what this looks like together. Oof. Okay. Let's see, are the rivets even close? Gosh, I don't even think the rivets are close on this. No way. Yeah, look, there's the front rivet. You see how far forward the wheelbase is? Gosh. That ain't gonna fly. I don't know. I mean, I would have to massage this thing pretty hard. And even then, it's not even I don't know. I'd have to cut these sills up pretty hard. Then I don't even know what would have to happen to make it, to shorten it. I mean, I'd have to cut the dang shell apart. Okay, let's see what this looks like just for the heck of it. Oh boy. Now this is a mess, obviously, you know, you can imagine. Gosh, I think there's potential for something like this. There's got to be potential where I can cut out, you know, cut the chassis in half to shorten it, but then I gotta get different set of wheels in there, which I have some smaller diameter wheels that are thinner. So that might work for something. But then the base is all wonky. It's gonna look kind of ugly, right? The thick bumpers. Gonna have to do some thinking. All right, y'all. In an effort to make this work, I went to my Hot Wheels graveyard, pulled out this 934 Turbo. See, there you go. And this is a cool ass casting. It's got the whale tail spoiler. It's much more interesting, in my opinion, than the 2.7 Carrera RS. But let's see. I won't hack this one apart until I'm sure, but let's just see how it compares. So, okay. Definite difference in length between the 2.7 Carrera RS and the 934. The wheelbase is close to the same. It's close. But I think this is longer than this, and the Carrera RS was even longer than the Porsche clip. Yeah. You can just see right there how far off. The front of the fender almost cuts the axle right in half. Bummer. Okay. As I sat here a little bit longer, I feel like the combination that's going to work, or that is going to be the most feasible, it ain't this. I think cutting the metal and adding to, I just don't think this is going to work. There's no way I can add more material to this that's going to look even remotely good. So, scrap that. I ended up popping the wheels off the 2.7 RS platform here. And these two, they're the same width, but as you can tell, if we go front rivet, if we kind of line up that front rivet hole, it's kind of lined up. There's a little bit of overhang on the bumper. That's not too bad. The width is about right. If we narrow up these, I think it'll slide down a little bit further, maybe shorten the front bumper here a tiny bit. But the big issue, look at the rear overhang, right? But from the front, it's pretty good. And the center of that axle seems to be directly under the center of that front fender. So I think if we were to trim just past it, that tiny bit, potentially move this platform forward a bit, we might have a little bit of a project on our hands. So how about this? Let's call this video part 1, and maybe we can get back into it in part 2 and see if I can make a custom Porsche keychain Hot Wheel driving around with a shortened wheelbase. I don't know. If that's something you guys want to see, let me know in the comments. But for now, myth busted. But let's see if we can make it plausible in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great week.